Individuals entering into society must give up a share of liberty to preserve the rest. Be not glad at the misfortune of another, though he may be your enemy. Perseverance and spirit have done wonders in all ages. Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind than on the externals in the world. We must consult our means rather than our wishes. Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those be well tried before you give them your confidence. Truth will ultimately prevail where pains is taken to bring it to light. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. Human happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. 99% of failures come from people who make excuses. Guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. Observe good faith and justice toward all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all. Few men have virtue to withstand the highest bidder. A sensible woman can never be happy with a fool. Experience teaches us that it is much easier to prevent an enemy from posting themselves than it is to dislodge them after they have got possession. To encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. Where are our men of abilities? Why do they not come forth to save their country? A bad war is fought with a good mind. Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all. Liberty, when it begins to take root, is a plant of rapid growth. Let your discourse with men of business be short and comprehensive. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. The great rule of conduct for us, in regard to foreign nations, is, in extending our commercial relations, to have with them as little political connection as possible. It is substantially true that virtue or morality is a necessary spring of popular government. The rule, indeed, extends with more or less force to every species of free government. I have always considered marriage as the most interesting event of one's life and the foundation of happiness or misery. Every day the increasing weight of years admonishes me more and more that the shade of retirement is as necessary to me as it will be welcome. We should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience. The turning points of lives are not the great moments. The real crises are often concealed in occurrences so trivial in appearance that they pass unobserved. The reflection upon my situation and that of this army produces many an uneasy hour when all around me are wrapped in sleep. Few people know the predicament we are in. Decision-making, like coffee, needs a cooling process. To persevere in one's duty and be silent is the best answer to calumny. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience. Paper money has had the effect in your state that it will ever have, to ruin commerce, oppress the honest, and open the door to every species of fraud and injustice. Lenience will operate with greater force, in some instances, than rigor. It is therefore my first wish to have all of my conduct distinguished by it. There is nothing so likely to produce peace as to be well prepared to meet the enemy. Let your heart feel for the afflictions and distress of everyone. I hold the maxim no less applicable to public than to private affairs, that honesty is always the best policy. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. I conceive a knowledge of books is the basis upon which other knowledge is to be built. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. Much was to be done by prudence, much by conciliation, much by firmness. Worry is the interest paid by those who borrow trouble. Laws made by common consent must not be trampled on by individuals. It is absolutely necessary for me to have persons that can think for me, as well as execute orders. It is a much easier and less distressing thing to draw remonstrances in a comfortable room by a good fireside than to occupy a cold, bleak hill and sleep under frost and snow without clothes or blankets. Experience has taught us that men will not adopt and carry into execution measures best calculated for their own good without the intervention of a coercive power. Religious controversies are always productive of more acrimony and irreconcilable hatreds than those which spring from any other cause.